Hello, my name is Serrano Kate Baldio. I am the president of the Dallas Pulse newspaper now. I used to be the former president of the New Jersey Pulse News. Today we're doing an investigation, or we're starting an investigation into Harry Melber of New Jersey of AMH Investigations. So far, what we learned about Harry Melber, he owned a couple of bars, and we'll explain who he is. It's very important. He owned a couple of bars, and they failed. He's divorced, issues with his some other personal issues in his life that we're not going to talk about just yet till we get confirmation. His two sons in their late 20s. He had a cleaning business, and then his brother is also into the private investigation business as well. So Harry Melber, a few years back, got his license out of what we heard so far is desperation to get a job. So he got a license to be a private detective, which is not part of his training. It's not part of his background. It's not part of his upbringing. So the story today is whether or not Harry Melber is just a sloppy guy, just trying to be a private investigator, or he's too smart for his own good. So Harry Melber was hired by the government of Paterson. I said the government, by one of his officials, to target the former mayor Joey Torres. And he followed him around, him and his family, his daughters, his wife, and got some videos of some employees at his house. So one of the council members at the time, who's now the mayor, was behind all of this, Andrew Sayer. I caught him with reporters. I caught him pushing NBC News, getting Harry Melber on the news to try to push a narrative against Joey Torres. So they took whatever little Harry Melber got and they made a big deal out of it. And then they got the attention of the Attorney General's office. And that's how they were able to have Joey Torres arrested and removed from office on a plea deal. So when I was going to run for the city of Paterson as well, the mayor's office, they felt that I was a threat in some way. So they rehired Harry Melber to target me. And I saw him a few times. I saw him outside my house. I saw him in my backyard, I think. And I didn't pay any attention to it. You know, white Caucasian guy with a camera. You think he's working with the city or something. But I didn't know he was actually stalking me and my wife at the time. But he was caught. I caught him. I saw him. But, you know, it's my home. It's my street. So I figured nobody's got the guts enough to come and sit outside my house and wait and watch me and my wife. So my wife told me that somebody was chasing her. I mean, they were chasing her into her building where she could have slammed into the wall, slammed into the railing, got into an accident in a car, and maybe hurt herself. So I didn't think about it. I knew somebody was doing it. It was my instinct to set up a camera in a car, and I didn't think about that either. I thought maybe it's just, you know, a coincidence. People see women, they like them, they chase them. But I didn't know she was being stalked. My wife is a quiet person, so she's catching him. She's catching him, stalking her. So this time on April 5th, 2017, she catches him again. She sees him, he's chasing her, it looks like intentionally. She goes into a parking lot. He follows her in the parking lot, which means he's busted. She goes out of it. He follows her, busted again. She goes into another place, another lot. He follows her there, busted again. Is this guy really a professional PI? That you would be busted so many times and you don't realize that the person, your mark, has made you so you can pull off and back off on her? So she comes out and as she's going down the road, he's chasing her again. I mean, the police dash cam from where I you can see it is him chasing her, basically bumper to bumper. So the thing is, was he chasing her to run her off the road, to get into an accident, to scare her? Was things that I posted on my Facebook page. Or was he just that sloppy? So she took him to court on stalking, reckless driving, and careless driving. But the prosecutor was the one that's supposed to subpoena Harry Melber's tape. But at the time, we didn't figure out that he had thousands of hours of videotape that he records when he's going after people. He hid those tapes from the prosecutor, so now it's a criminal charge. He also hid it in a case that he filed against me, which is also a criminal charge in the criminal code. So even the clerk was saying he's got to be that sloppy to be getting caught so many times. So what kind of PI would get caught so many times? So if you're looking to hire Harry Melber, I'm just saying take a look at the incidents here, how he's getting caught, not just once, not just twice, 3 times, and even outside my house. If this was another street and I saw his car a couple of times follow me, I would have made him myself. But I thought I was in the safety of my own home, but I still caught him outside with a camera. And I was like, this guy, now I'm thinking this guy is very sloppy. Because usually when you're PI and you get caught, you have a reason, you have a look that you're there for maybe some other purposes, maybe you're an inspector or something. But he was just blatant, sitting there like a stone face, like he got caught. So, like I said, I didn't pay notice to him at the time because I thought I was in the safety of my own home. But you have to ask yourself, was Harry Melber intentional in hurting this woman who happened to be my wife, because I'm the president of a newspaper, hired as a goon to go after her? Some kind of sleazy guy that needs to make money that badly that he's hired by corrupted Paterson officials? I mean, is this how low he has come in his life? And getting busted. So we're trying to figure out, was it intentional to get busted and scare her and be like a paparazzi and maybe a Princess Diana situation where she actually ended up getting killed by chasing her? This was the thought in my head. Even one of the cops was confused about it. So lied about information he gave to the cop. This is what's confusing. He gave information to the cop and then lied and says in a complaint that he gave his driver's license and insurance. When we look at the video, none of that happened. We look at the complaint, the cop says no, he didn't. So he's a liar as well. He lied in a couple of documents that we're looking at. So anyway, he tried to sue me for defamation and a $700 settlement, and the settlement was riddled with protection from the Paterson government, or the $25,000 fine. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to protect them. If you want this to be about you, that's fine. It's about you, I'll let you go. Because I know you are a hired goon. You are hired by corrupted people to go after her. And now the question remains, are you just sloppy, a bad detective, or your actions against an innocent woman was intentional and willful? And that's what we're looking to get some other private detectives involved and the state police involved to find out what his intentions were. So just a warning out there with Harry Melber, those 2 things that's still being investigated and questioned, whether or not he's just sloppy and whether or not he was intentionally. Either way, you're targeting a woman on the highway, you're chasing her down, the police dash cam showed you hid your own dash cam, and these are a government official that hired him, one or more. And we know that because a former police chief said that. So this is Harry Melber trying to be a private detective, or trying to be the goon or the stooge or the puppet for corrupted officials in Paterson, the government, being paid for it, because he didn't do this for free. He was hired to do this. So what we heard is that the government, the officials either paid out of their own pockets, or they paid a third party, paid into them, that support donates to them, to hire him to go after an innocent woman on a highway. And whether or not that's his conscience, that this is the kind of life he wants to live, targeting the wives of men and children and family members. We know he couldn't keep a business. We know he couldn't keep his wife. We know he couldn't keep a job. So this is what Harry Melber has resorted to, they said. And well, like I said, we're investigating him now, his brother, his sons, his family members, and to see if you're going to go after people's family members, if you're going to go after them, of course people are going to get together and go after you to find out why you did it. So right now we don't know his motive. We suspect his motive was intentional. We suspect his motive and also careless. In a private detective, you're supposed to be private. You're supposed to stay back when you're marking somebody, follow from a difference, and if you realize you get caught, you pull away. He didn't do that. He kept going after her, the police dash cam show. And if you wanted more evidence, just go on to New Jersey Pulse News on Facebook. That's New Jersey PULSE Pulse News, and you'll see the actual video of him chasing this innocent woman down the road. And we're going to be investigating that criminally and the lies that he told in court to cover that up for the officials in Paterson. Like I said, I was sent an agreement to set up for $700 after he goes after my wife to set up that. And I said, absolutely not, because there's a clause in there that if I mention this, what he did, I don't really care about him. I would have signed it. I was about to sign it when I saw a $25,000 penalty clause to protect the Paterson officials. Now, if it's just you, that's fine. But to protect those officials was what my concern was about. And I almost signed it. And I said, not the Paterson officials. Just you can go. And he refused to, because I think they hired him and they wanted him to, if I don't say anything about him, then I don't say anything about them. So he was protecting the government. Didn't like that. I refused. And now we're in an appeal. We're appealing his claim. And in that appeal, we're gonna get some information. And we also have a federal suit coming against him for this because he was protecting the Paterson officials. And that's what his $25 penalty was for. And that's what we're going after, to find out his intentions. So again, before you hire him, look into the case, look into what he did to this innocent woman, his sloppiness, his intentions. And there are very good private detectives in New Jersey. I know some of them now. A lot of them have reached out to me and is trying to help me do some more investigation on him. So those are the guys that really are respectful to family members and people, just doing a decent job, just doing their jobs, things like that. But try to find dirt on an innocent woman and chasing her and doing all kind of stuff that is illegal and getting, right now we still have a stalking charge on him that's holed up in a court. So we're looking, trying to find out what happened to that. My name is Serrano Keith Baudio. I'm the president of the former New Jersey Pulse News that was exposing corruption, and Harry Melber was hired to block that and to find dirt on me to prevent me from discovering the actual corruption in the city of Paterson. So that's one of his goal here, was to find the dirt on me, find the dirt on my wife. I don't know what they were going to do with the dirt on Harry Melber was going to do with the dirt on my wife. Maybe expose her, find her in compromising position. He was outside my house taking photographs, could have gotten some photographs through the windows, and maybe they feed that out there and, embarrass me. So this is the kind of sleaziness that he's involved in at my home. I'm taking photographs and videos and hiding it. So we're going to get those. And I just know there are good detectives, good private detectives out there, former police officers. This guy had nothing to do with law enforcement as far as when I ask other people, did he have any law enforcement background? Absolutely not. And that's why he's out there breaking the law and playing private detective. And now the state troopers are involved, who actually give out the license. My name is Serrano. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.